A federal inquiry into housing affordability has pinned the blame on supply shortages. Joining me live now is the Executive Chairman for Yellow Brick Road Home Loans, Mark Bouris. Mark, good morning to you. So it's the supply shortages and not the banks, as some would argue.
Yeah, well, the prices always are determined by where the supply curve meets the demand curve. I mean, that's basic economics. If the demand curve is maintained at a certain level and the supply curve drops off, in other words, there is a lack of supply of new housing, then prices go up by definition. So that's just basic economics. And there are a lot of studies around at the moment, and one of which I saw the other day, which suggested that the supply of new housing in Australia, and that's a new dwellings, not housing, but new dwellings, that includes apartments and houses, across the country, is at a very low point relative to where it was, say, 3 years ago. So it's about 30% lower than where it was 3 years ago. So, in other words, finished housing or finished dwellings are very, very low, whilst the demand has maintained itself in its higher position. So prices have got to go up.
So does that mean the government's got to do more on that front to make more houses available?
I mean, that'd be one of the pleadings of everybody, and all the various industry bodies will say that. But I think there's a lot of reasons for it, I mean, which government probably couldn't fix. For example, the supply of finished dwellings dropped during the COVID period for a whole lot of obvious reasons, because tradesmen can't get to sites, builders can't get to sites, etc. There was also supply chain problems right now. So, a lot of them can't even get timber to finish off these places, or concrete, or concreters. And I think we're going to dribble along the bottom for a period of time. Governments can't supply labourers, plumbers, etc. They can't supply timber, etc. That's just not something government can do. And I think we're going to run around the bottom for a little while, because we've got other issues around up in northern New South Wales and west of Sydney, where we've got to rebuild whole areas, massive areas. So it's just going to exacerbate the supply chain problem. So I think we'll stay on the bottom for a while. So that's going to keep prices up for a while.
What about these, and this might lead into our next question about Daniel Andrews, these comments from Daniel Andrews this week, Mark, that young people just aren't interested in getting new homes, primarily because they can't afford it, obviously. But do you agree with him?
No, I don't. And my God, Premier Andrews, please, don't go and do a survey of your kids and some of their friends, which is what he admitted. After talking to his kids and a few of their friends, he takes the view, and now it's become a national discussion, that young people are not interested. Young people are very interested in their security in the future. In fact, they're more attuned to their security in the future than anybody else. But what they take the view of is that they can't afford it. That's a different issue. It's affordability. They're saying, I give up. And I've done a bit of work through TikTok, just asking these sorts of questions. And I have had enormous responses from young people who get on TikTok, that is, people under the age of 30, and it is largely around the affordability. I've given up. I don't really know what to do. How do I save enough money to do this? How much money do I need to earn? So we need a big education program. So I would rather see Premier Andrews start an education program explaining to young people how they can get on the property ladder. That'd be a much more positive outcome, I think, than sort of just giving up the ghost and running for the hills.
Okay. I'm impressed that you're on TikTok, Mark.
Mate, well, as they say, I've got people who do that stuff for me, but I provide the content at least.
Okay, good one. Mark Bouris, good to chat as always. We'll talk to you soon.